Hello, we're going to begin your Tuesday Daily 5 with a warm-up exercise called butterflies. This is a variation of my level 3 pistons exercise. So let's roll down safely through the back onto the mat, get comfortable here. We're going to step the feet in. So I want you to locate your Pilates neutral position so you're nice and flat on top, you're hollowing out through the belly, you've got some space. I can easily slide my hand underneath my low back, so some space underneath the back. From here, what we're going to do is drop down into a reclined bound angle pose or like a butterfly. I don't want this to hurt the low back, so if you need to keep the knees narrow, that's fine. So we're coming into some external rotation at the groin and the hip joints. We're going to stretch the arms down long, nod the chin down into the chest, soften through the face. As we inhale, we're going to bring both feet up. We're going to exhale to lower down, taking them to a position where you can maintain neutral. So the further out you touch the feet, the more work. We're going to inhale up, and now we're going to inverse this. So the knees come together, the toes come out, so we're in internal rotation at the hips. We're going to exhale down, and we're going to keep alternating now. We're going to lift. We're going to switch into external rotation, exhale down, inhale up, and switch. So we start to find neutral, get centered and warmed up through the lower abdominals, hollow out through the belly, but we also start to warm up the hips here. Unless we tend to be naturally, anatomically, internally rotated, knock-kneed or pigeon-toed, a lot of times this position, this internal rotation, can feel a little awkward or uncomfortable. But it's important that we spend time in all positions, work from all angles so we can balance the body. Good, one more here. We're going to touch down into internal rotation, lift up, and then relax the feet down. We're going to come into a footwork exercise. So the legs will come up to a tabletop position at a 90 degree angle, and then we're going to come into like a frog position here where the heels are together, balls of the feet are apart. So I have just a narrow Pilates style stance V shape in the feet. My knees will always stay in line with the shoulders or even a little bit more narrow, so I can start to activate the inner thighs. I'm going to draw up through the pelvic floor. On my exhale, as I breathe out, I'm going to stretch the legs out on a diagonal where I can control and keep the pelvis still and steady. I will inhale, draw them in as far as I can without flattening the back. I want to keep that neutral, and I want to keep the knees narrow. So nice and slow. We're going to exhale, stretch out long, zip up the legs. Inhale, draw in. Keep that energy connecting between the inner thighs. Exhale, press up and out. As you do this, try to soften the face and the shoulders. The head or the shoulders may try to lift to assist you. Don't let them. Keep them grounded and relaxed. Exhale, press up and out, tight tummy. We don't want the belly popping out. It should not look like a loaf of bread. Exhale, squeeze it out. Inhale in. Let's just try a couple more, please. One more time. For more challenge, you simply take it a little lower. Good, we're going to set the feet down, hands behind the thighs. We're going to roll up. We're going to move into the open leg rocker. So we'll take the seat towards the feet. You want to give yourself some space to roll back. And then I'm going to grab my ankles with my thumbs dipping down on the inside. I'm going to round out, C-curve the spine, hollow the belly, and tip back until I'm balancing. My toes and balls of my feet are now hovering. My feet are not touching the ground. From here, I'm going to extend both legs just slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Draw the tummy down and in and gaze straight forward. So please just hold here for a breath. I want you to find the stomach. If your flexibility is limiting you from doing this position, you can do this with bent legs. You can even grab behind the thighs. That's okay. Take it to where you can. So I have a little bit of a turnout here, a little bit of external rotation. I'm going to activate my quadriceps to get the legs long and strong. Now, if you're able to add on, you're going to really C-curve that spine and draw the gaze down towards the belly. We're going to inhale, rock, and roll back onto the mid-back, and exhale, come up and just hit a balance as best as you can. This is a tricky one. Exhale, come up and hit that balance. Inhale back, exhale. Inhale back, exhale up. Make sure that you keep weight off of the neck as you roll back. You want it to stay right on the mid-back shoulder blade area. Hold here. Hold, and breathe. Squeeze those legs together in a V shape. Let the heels draw together, and then either hands alongside the legs or next to the legs. You're going to roll all the way down. Let the legs lift to the sky. Connect the legs like you've got one solid leg in the middle of your body. Anchor down through the tailbone, hollow the belly, and make sure you've got space underneath the low back. For corkscrew, both legs come to the right, and we draw a small circle on the ceiling, keeping the pelvis as still and stationary as possible. Inhale down and around, and exhale up and around. So I like to imagine that my pelvis is stuck in cement. So it is literally cemented into the ground. The legs are dissociating at the hip joints. They're moving independently of my pelvis. Good, keep going. A full breath each way. There's no rush with these, nice and controlled. Inhale to initiate your circle, exhale to complete it. And of course, the bigger the circle you make, you get a little bit more work here. We've got 2 more, please. Inhale and exhale. Last time. We're going to keep the legs long. We're preparing for the teaser. So you'll take the legs down to a challenging angle where you can maintain your neutral. Arms will lift overhead. We're going to inhale, chin to chest, and come up and try to lengthen through the spine for a V-sit here. Full breath. You're going to roll all the way down. Arms back overhead. Inhale, chin to chest, and lift. And back down. For more challenge, you'll come up, raise the arms by the ears, and melt it down. That's just an option. You don't have to add that. If you want a little bit more belly work, you will really feel it if you lift the arms up at the top of the motion here. Last one. Melt it down. Oh, so good. Hug the knees in. That was work. Okay, we're going to lower the feet. We're going to roll up to a seated position. We're going to come over onto all fours now. We're going to come onto the hands and knees, and we're going to come into a balance. So we'll take the shoulders over the wrists. We're going to line the hips up over the knees. Really good alignment here. Soften the elbows so the hollows of the elbows face one another. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Press your weight evenly through the hands. We're going to start by taking the left foot behind us, and you're going to reach back through the heel. So you should activate the whole back side of that leg. I want it to be on fire when we do this exercise. Right now you should get a lovely stretch from your rear. I want your rump to lift the foot. So this is where the whole back side of the leg should be on fire. I want you to slightly think about internally rotating that leg so that the big toe is really heading down towards the mat and not turning out like our Pilates turn out. Okay, we're going to take the right arm, opposite arm, stretch it out, and then I want you to lift it, but I want that shoulder blade to stay plugged into your back. So again, we're working from that mid-back. Your gaze is just naturally down and out in front of you so that the neck is in line with the spine, and you breathe. Pull the belly up and in. If you need to, you can tuck the opposite toes. You can tuck your toes if that helps you. Relax down, just round out the spine. Relax the head and neck. Great, okay, let's repeat that on the other side. So we're gonna reach back through the right heel. You should get a good stretch here. Just start to activate, turn on those muscles along the back line of the body. And then from that right cheek, lift up to hopefully hip height. We're gonna keep the hips squared off. Left arm reaches out and lifts. So I am reaching back through my heel like it wants to touch the wall behind me, and then out through my fingertips, and I have my arm positioned like I'm shaking hands with someone. I'm doing that to help relax the shoulder down. Okay, release, exhale, curl, and round it out. You can shake out the head if you need to. Okay, from here we're coming into our stretch. We're gonna come into pigeon pose. So we're gonna bring the right leg forward. The more you bring this shin parallel with the short edge of the mat, you're gonna get deeper into this. So I want you to find a place where you have a stretch. I don't want you to have any knee pain. We're gonna come up and over this back leg, your knee and the top of the foot are facing down into the mat. We're gonna start lifted, nice and tall. So if you can relax the shoulders down and get into a nice long position, you hopefully can get a stretch through the front of the hips. You're opening up through the iliopsoas. Just take a breath here, just settle in. We're cooling down, and then we're going to fold forward. So perhaps you come onto the elbows and forearms, perhaps you can rest the head down. And so you may still get this in the front of the left hip, but you should also start to feel this over in that right hip, on the hip of the bent leg. So we're warming up and opening the external rotators. We get into our piriformis muscle, which is often a little stinker. It's usually tight. Good. Hold the belly up and in towards the spine. Walk your hands back up and in. So I would like to transition this back through plank. I want your hands to spread wide. You're going to take that front foot back, make a plank shape, reach back through both heels, soften the elbows, and then we're going to bring the other leg forward. Settle down into it. So we start lifted. Bring the hands in front and see if you can get your weight even from right to left sides of the body. So we have a tendency to really shift the weight heavily to one side. See if you can center that out. Soften the shoulders down. Don't forget to breathe. You never want to hold your breath. And then again, we're going to fold forward. So you have the option to come to the forearms. You have the option to relax all the way down. It might be intense, but there should never be sharp pain. You never want to go so deep into your stretch that you forget to breathe. You should be able to talk as well. All right, tight tummy, press yourself up. Let's come back through plank one more time just for the fun of it. Come back up into plank, hold and breathe. You can do this with the knees down if needed, and relax. Great, great, great job. Okay, so we've made it through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow for hump day, and I'm really proud of you. Stick with it. All right, bye.